Welcome to the Univar Solutions Flex Forward Plant-Based Desserts webinar. My name is Jerry Benson, and I'm a Senior Product Manager on the North American Food Ingredients team at Univar Solutions. It is my pleasure to open today's webinar. The spotlight on plant-based desserts comes in response to consumers' biggest concerns: their health, the environment, and their budget. Fueled by the demand for better-for-you foods, food manufacturers can elevate their brands and gain market share by incorporating more plant-based ingredients, capitalizing on healthy nutrition profiles, focusing on texture improvement, and delivering indulgent flavor profiles. So this webinar today will explore the trends of plant-based ingredients and will walk you through how to formulate a plant-based dessert while highlighting the key ingredients that Univar Solutions can offer. So before we get started, I'll quickly review how to ask a question. Then, since at Univar Solutions we are serious about safety, we will start the webinar with the safety share. And then I'll introduce today's presenters before diving into plant-based market trends in the dessert space. Once we understand what the market looks like today, we will take a look at some essential ingredients to create indulgent plant-based desserts while overcoming texture challenges. So at the end of the webinar, you will have the insights and tools to elevate your products and showcase your new product launches in the growing plant-based desserts space. So during today's session, you'll be able to submit questions via the chat box feature or the question box. Simply type your question in the chat box. Only the presenter will see the question, and the sender will be anonymous to the other attendees. You can submit questions at any time, but we will address them at the end of the presentation. Next slide. So our safety share today focuses on supporting a healthy immune system. So here's a few ways to intuitively support your immune system. Eat your recommended servings of fruits and vegetables. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Our bodies are composed of 60% water, so drink water throughout the day. Consuming protein and probiotic-rich foods. Staying active, get outdoors for fresh air and exercise. Wash your hands frequently to eliminate risk of infection, and regularly practice stress management. So today's webinar will highlight Jellimar as one of our strategic ingredient suppliers. Carolina Torres-Horton, market manager and food engineer with Jellimar, will take us through some of the key challenges in formulation of plant-based desserts. Carolina has 11 years of experience in using carrageenan as a key texturizing agent or ingredient in overcoming the challenges in formulating healthy, indulgent, ethical products that meet today's trends. Following Carolina, my colleague Charles Purcell will highlight key ingredients that Univar Solutions can support you with for the development of your plant-based desserts. Charles is a senior manager of application development with Univar Solutions. He has been with us for 15 years and has a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, as well as a diploma in culinary innovation and food technology with over 5 years of R&D experience. Over the last few years, dessert trends have drastically evolved. Gone are the days where plant-based desserts were exclusive to vegans and vegetarians. Today's consumers are looking for opportunities to treat and indulge their taste buds with desserts rich in nutrients, yet affordable and ethical. Let's take a look at what plant-based desserts means today, in 2 years, and in 5 years. So where we are now, as consumers look for both health and comfort during the COVID pandemic, they reach for yogurt and other desserts, wanting nutritious, yet indulgent and affordable staple foods. They challenge the nutritional benefits and environmental impact of dairy. So more brands now offer some plant-based options. Among chilled and ambient desserts launched globally, 6% now claim to be vegan. Brands are adding healthy ingredients, like including real fruit to desserts, as consumers do not feel that they tarnish the taste. In the next 2 years, the focus will be on health, value, and ethics. Regarding health, consumers will continue to cut down on dairy to stay healthy. In terms of value, to widen its audience, plant-based and dairy alternative desserts will need to become more affordable. And ethics is also a factor. These brands must do business in a caring manner to improve the health and the planet and its population. And finally, in 5 years and beyond, We will be looking to develop functional and personalized solutions. The ideal that all consumers do not have the same nutritional needs is spreading. Consumers will look for those, what they believe are their biological needs. Brands will have to respond with nutritional plant-based solutions delivering functional health benefits such as eye protection, improving bone density, or strengthening their immune system. While consumers may on occasion compromise their health for an indulgent treat, consumers will be uncompromising on the ethics, favoring brands that run their business in an ethical and sustainable way. And finally, consumers will look for desserts to be sustainably creamy. This means they want to continue enjoying the rich, creamy taste of dairy in a sustainable manner. So consumers will look to lab-grown ingredients. Lab-grown milk is projected to be a disruptor in both the dairy and the plant-based dessert category, according to Mintel sources. I would now like to turn the presentation over to our featured speaker, Carolina Torres-Horton from Jellymar, who will take us through Jellymar's carrageenan solutions.
Thank you, Jerry. At Jellymar, we have also seen the same factors spurring consumers' interest in plant-based desserts. The growing popularity of vegan lifestyle and increasing demand for dairy alternatives have placed plant-based desserts as the hot trend in the food industry in developed economies of North America and Europe. According to a report published by Plant-Based Food Association, retail sales of plant-based foods increased by more than 10% in 2019 in the US. Increased health awareness has encouraged producers to select healthier ingredients and develop increasingly challenging low-fat dessert formulations. Plant-based desserts are rapidly overcoming negative perceptions around texture and taste. They are considered the perfect alternative to treats typically heavily laden with creams, eggs, butter, and other healthy ingredients, while also delivering traditional desserts, quality, taste, and visual appeal. Next slide, please. The global vegan dessert market was valued at $2.68 billion in 2020, and it is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 10.1% from 2020 to 2027. North America dominates the market with a share of 37.7%, which is attributable to the rising number of vegan consumers plus the wide availability of products. The cakes and pastries product segment dominated the vegan dessert market in 2019. These are the most popular products in the industry, as they are also considered celebratory dishes served on ceremonial events like birthdays, weddings, and anniversaries. On the other hand, the frozen dessert segment is expected to expand at the fastest growth rate, mainly due to the rising launch of ice creams made with non-dairy milks and fats. This segment includes all kinds of desserts meant to be eaten or purchased in frozen conditions, such as ice cream, sherbets, frozen yogurts, and of course, cheesecakes and pies. The most popular base materials are non-dairy milk derived from soy, coconut, cashew, and rice, but new sources like oat, almond, pea, and avocado are gaining traction. Entering the radar are varieties originating from the likes of banana, potato, chia, and chickpea. Next slide, please. As consumers embrace more plant-based food for health and sustainability reasons, they also seek products that satisfy their cravings. When developing healthy and indulgent plant-based desserts, the real challenge is ensuring a realistic and enjoyable experience that mimics authentic dairy products. Scoopable, spreadable, sliceable with the expected mouthfeel and sensory profile characteristics. Consequently, the texture becomes the critical attribute to be considered in product development. Plant ingredients such as grains, legumes, fruits, and vegetables typically give a mushy texture, lacking the bite and creaminess factors found in dairy products. As an additional challenge, the selection of plant-based ingredients should be privileged that, in addition to having a high functionality, do not negatively impact the flavor of the dessert. To overcome the challenge, it is key to offer natural and functional ingredients. Next slide, please. Within the range of functional ingredients, carrageenan stands out in its category for being a natural, organic, and non-allergen hydrocolloid chosen by kosher, halal, and vegan clients for a variety of uses in the food, personal care, and pharmaceutical industries. Carrageenan starts out as a red seaweed and, through careful purification, becomes an ingredient consumers see on the labels of food and beverages they love to eat. Carrageenan benefits from being a 100% plant-based ingredient entirely extracted from red seaweeds, suitable for vegetarians or others who avoid ingredients of animal origin. Thanks to its gelling capacity and its ability to interact with proteins, it becomes the perfect solution when preparing plant-based desserts, especially reduced in sugar and fats, where the goal is to achieve the texture of the original treat. The mere act of formulating with carrageenan results in the creation of creamy textures that range from soft to firm gels, depending on the blend of the chosen carrageenan types. Due to their interactions with other ingredients in the formulation, carrageenan can deliver stable products through its complete shelf life and prevent texture deviations during freeze-thaw cycles. At the same time, it exerts efficient synersis controls by retaining between 20 and 25 times its weight in water. Next, please. As for Jellimar, few people know the story of our company and our passion for making carrageenan. Chile, our stunningly beautiful homeland, is famously narrow and long, more than 4,000 kilometers long, embracing the Pacific Ocean and connecting our livelihood and culture to the sea. Our two production sites are perfectly located to take full advantage of our proximity to the lush seaweed beds on the southern coast, adjacent to the cleanest seas anywhere on Earth. Jellimar is a pioneer in the seaweed industry, and it is currently worldwide recognized as the largest carrageenan manufacturer of cold water seaweed. What makes our carrageenan products unique is our ability to extract them from fresh seaweed using our proprietary technologies. Next slide, please. But what is carrageenan? Carrageenan is a group of natural polysaccharides present in the structures of certain varieties of red seaweed named Rhodophyceae. Chemically speaking, carrageenan are linear polymers with alternate molecules of galactose and anhydrogalactose units. These molecules are partially substituted by sulfate or pyruvate groups. Therefore, carrageenan are generally found as sodium, potassium, and calcium salts. Now, the content and position of the sulfate substitutes determine the primary differences between various types of carrageenan. And there are four of commercial relevance: kappa 1, kappa 2, iota, and lambda. Next slide, please. Kappa 1 carrageenan is a linear homopolymer consisting of kappa carrabiose that forms strong and brittle gels in water or milk dispersions with significant synersis. It requires heat activation to approximately 75 degrees Celsius for its complete solubilization and activation. Iota carrageenan is constituted by iota carrabiose units, delivering weak gels with high elasticity and low synersis. It has excellent freeze-thaw stability and requires an activation temperature of 55 degrees Celsius. On the other hand, kappa 2 carrageenan is considered hybrid because it combines kappa 1 and iota carrabiose units, but naturally, delivering solid elastic gels in water, delivering solid elastic gels in water or milk dispersions. It has a high reactivity with milk, shows moderate synersis, and requires an activation temperature of 70 degrees Celsius. The higher molecular weight of kappa 2 versus kappa 1 yields viscosity solutions as well. Finally, lambda carrageenan is a semi-linear polymer containing different carrabioses, resulting in a thickened dispersion. Due to its high degree of sulfating, it is the most soluble cold water or milk. Therefore, it is recognized as the instant carrageenan. Now, it's imperative to mention that kappa-2 carragenan's unique rheological and sensory properties cannot be replaced by simple mixing of kappa-1 and iota. Not only are there differences in the activation and salt-gel transition temperatures, but also in their gel mechanisms. Next slide, please. Within the 4 types of commercial carragenans, kappa-2 shows an interesting advantages. Its high molecular weight allows it to deliver high viscosity and water binding capacity. Kappa-2 carragenan can be hydrated at room temperature in a water-based environment rich in cations such as potassium, sodium, calcium, and magnesium. Additionally, kappa-2 carragenan benefits from forming thixotropic gels that stand strong through mechanical stress. Therefore, is an ideal ingredient for complex or stringent processing lines in the food industry. Finally, kappa-2 carragenan is an excellent cost-beneficial ingredient as it plays a dual role in several food applications, texturizer and stabilizer. As with other hydrocolloids, to ensure that carrageenan will perform adequately, it must be correctly dispersed into the water-based system. The recommendation is to premix carrageenan with another powder ingredients in a proportion of 1:5 to enable the particles to be homogeneously distributed in the system. A correct dispersion will allow the molecules to swell, hydrate, and provide complete functionality. Carrageenan swelling properties depend on the specific type, ionic strength, stirring speed, temperature, and presence of other molecules. Another critical step is heat activation. Carrageenan needs to achieve a minimum of 75 degrees Celsius to fully activate, enabling it to become a random coil. As temperature decreases, carrageenan forms both helix and double helix aggregation in the presence of potassium and calcium cations, resulting in a structured gel. Next slide, please. At Jellimar, we invite you to expand your texture horizons to a new level of creamy indulgence and irresistible smoothness in your plant-based desserts. Jellimar developed a specific product line named carrageenan VPD with the aim to open a new world of opportunities to set your products apart. Carrageenan VPD carrageenan products are readily dispersed into the water phase, avoiding lump formations and facilitating the hydration step. Another technical feature to highlight of the carrageenan VPD product line is its ability to stabilize water in oil emulsions, characteristics of plant-based desserts. Thanks to the efficient stabilization mechanism of 3-dimensional network formation added to the development of viscosity, we offer an effective solution to avoid phase separation and obtain homogeneous desserts through their shelf life. The functional properties of carrageenan VPD carrageenan products will provide outstanding stability during free-thaw cycles, without detrimental effects on the texture profiles or appearance of the final product. And finally, due to the presence of kappa-2 carrageenan, carrageenan VPD products benefits from providing desserts with a smooth, creamy texture and without any negative impact on flavor, which is also a crucial aspect to consider when it comes to mimicking the attributes of the original versions of the desserts. At Jellimar, we have been actively working on developing innovative plant-based desserts. The ones we will be presenting today are powder-type versions, easy to prepare at home, and offer an indulgent moment experience for the entire family. Our vegan almond flan development is a reduced sugar formulation that benefits from the nutritional value of almonds and hazelnuts, and offers an extraordinary creaminess and mouthfeel. Our carrageenan products are suitable for any type of almond milk, as they are engineered to establish mild interactions with other hydrocolloids commonly used in non-dairy milks. On the other hand, the creamy rice pudding is a delicious plant-based dessert that benefits from all the healthy nutrients of rice. Creamy and light sensation at the palate with the indulge your meals at homes. Jellimar has also vast experience in developing vegan versions of the traditional water gel desserts made from gelatin. Our product line is versatile as it allows the inclusion of natural fruit juices to offer more nutritious alternatives to consumers. The goal here is to maintain the firm and elastic texture characteristics of these types of desserts. Quinoa is a superfood native to Peru and Bolivia. However, its inclusion in dessert formulations is a real challenge as it undergoes syneresis, does not offer creaminess at all, and the gel forms cracks during its shelf life. Thanks to the high functionality of outstanding sensory properties of our Jellimar carrageenan products, we are actually able to develop a smooth and creamy quinoa pudding dessert with excellent melt in the mouth, despite being a low-fat content formulation. In terms of pies, our application laboratory has developed 100% plant-based options with no eggs, no butter, and no milk, but achieving a creamy, silky texture of the original versions. Once again, the versatility of carrageenan allows to formulate a wide range of gelling textures ideal for these desserts. Our cashew, cheesecake, and pumpkin pie are great vegan options for Thanksgiving Day and Halloween. The most recent development at our applications laboratory has been inspired by the American coconut grove dessert. Totally free of cream or milk, it maintains the original dessert's texture profile. In addition, our crazy coconut foam development is an aerated, firm, plant-based dessert that guarantees the stabilization of the air incorporation of the mousse structure. Now, on this occasion, we would like to dwell a little bit more on the coconut pudding, a delicious dessert based on a traditional Vietnamese recipe, chipap. As expected, milk is the main ingredient responsible for the creaminess and the mouthfeel in these type of desserts. Therefore, the primary sensory problems to overcome when making a vegan product are a watery sensation, a short linger on the palate, and the loss of creaminess. Next slide, please. There are many ways to replace dairy or animal origin ingredients by alternatives of vegetable sources. The trick consists of selecting those ingredients that offer the best functionality and sensory experience at the lowest possible cost. Our proposal for coconut pudding is a sugar-reduced version whose formulation reaches a protein content of 8.4%, 41% of fat, and sugar content of 5.4%. As shown in the presentation, the main ingredients in the coconut pudding powder mix are 60% coconut milk powder, 11% of waxy modified starch, plus 9% native rice starch, maltodextrin, dried shredded coconut, flavor, sweeteners, and more important, 3.3% of Carrageenan VPD carrageenan product. Specifically for this dessert, we will introduce you to Carrageenan VPD 6818 and Carrageenan VPD 6819 products, as they offer differentiated textural profiles. Now, the final coconut pudding dessert results from the reconstitution of 11.5% of the powder mix with 88.5% of ready-to-drink coconut milk. Thank you. And the good news is that it's effortless to prepare too. It all begins with place the coconut milk in a pan. Add the powder content of the package to the coconut milk while stirring with a spoon to fully hydration. Any lump formed during the dispersion should be easily disintegrated with the spoon. While stirring, start cooking with medium heat till reaching boiling point. Remove from the heat and continue stirring for an additional minute. Place the mixture into suitable bowls and cool down at room temperature for 30 minutes. After that time, chill the dessert for at least 2 hours and enjoy. The technology behind Jellymar's carrageenan products allow us to offer tailor-made solutions and very specific texture profiles according to consumers' needs. As an example, we present the differentiated texture profiles between two Carrageenan VPD products in the same formulation of coconut pudding dessert. While Carrageenan VPD 6818 offers a texture profile mainly focused on creaminess and smoothness, Carrageenan VPD 6819 provides a slightly firmer option, more fresh to the plate. Now, I will turn it over to Charles Purcell, Universe Solutions Senior Technical Manager, to discuss additional ingredients for plant-based desserts.
Next slide, please. Thanks, Carolina. That was informative. And I should mention that the coconut pudding recipe was, the actual formulation was actually developed by our application development specialist, Bo Lee, who has, he covers the West Coast of North America. So hats off to him. It's really a good product to try out. So now that we've looked at the unique role carrageenan plays in plant-based desserts, let's have a look at some additional ingredients you may need to formulate your own product. I broke it out into 4 different categories: sweetness, texture, flavor, and fortification. Creating the perfect plant-based dessert requires the right mix of all of these attributes. First, let's have a look at sweetness. Next slide. We have a robust sweetener profile at Univar Solutions. Whether you're looking for the latest in clean tasting stevia products or just the right blend of high intensity sweeteners, which can be tricky at times, we can assist you in narrowing down the options. You might actually wish to save time by utilizing our expertise in how these best mix together to save time and money. We have, in addition, we have ingredients like sugar, of course, corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, and even agave syrup all fall into the nutritive sweetener category. Then high intensity sweeteners, as I mentioned, we have the full gamut of those. And the best choice is often driven by the end target market and exactly what you're looking for. So it just matters what kind of a sweetness profile you're looking for. Next slide. Here's kind of a list of the nutritive and non-nutritive high intensity sweetener offerings that we have at Univar Solutions. And again, like I said, the right combination of these is totally up to you, what your marketing department looks like, what the end product needs to be like. So feel free to contact us about any of those things. I will mention that there's one of those, and I jumped ahead a little bit, but allulose is a unique new product for us. It's considered a rare sugar with virtually no caloric value. It incorporates, if you use allulose in one of your formulas, you can avoid the claims of added sugar on the principal display panel. Now you can go to the next slide, sorry. So for texture and flavor quality, they go hand in hand, as you know. Carolina did a great job about describing the textures you can achieve from carrageenan, and the texture totally impacts the flavor release. So you need to be sure that you're matching the flavor profile with the right texture. In this case, the addition of starches can also improve creaminess and gelling properties while lowering overall formula cost. Next slide. As we just stated, carrageenan is invaluable as the texture ingredient in a plant-based dessert. No other hydrocolloid can really match it for its contribution to a rich, creamy texture. However, additional hydrocolloids like starch can add to that body and flavor profile. With so many starches on the market, and you know there's a million of them, determining just the right choice can be quite a challenge. We chose 2 different tapioca starches in our formula. Cargill offers tapioca, potato, and corn-based starches. Their latest addition is the SimPure line of native starches that have a high functionality to meet your label-friendly needs. In other words, they perform like modified starches, but they're labeled as native starches. Next slide, thank you. The addition of flavor is quite subjective and totally up to the end target market. Fortification of any plant-based dessert is always a consideration in developing a successful product. Vitamin and mineral fortification can help round out the nutritional value of your product. And I jumped ahead just a little bit there. On the flavor side, we used some flavor, a coconut flavor from Carry Ingredients, but Univar, we're not primary in flavors, so go with the flavor house of your choice. We do offer vanillin, ethyl vanillin products from Solvay, natural vanilla flavors from Solvay, of course, salts from Morton and Cargill. And then if you're going chocolate, cocoa powders from Cargill. Next slide. Now on to fortification. Again, fortification is an essential part of any product development, and what you want your product nutritional profile to look like is totally, again, up to the end market. So the addition of calcium and other additional minerals is always critical. Next slide. This is just a list of all the mineral fortification products that we offer. Everything from calcium salts, magnesium salts, potassium salts, sodium, of course, and zinc. The list is extensive, and I didn't bother going into all that. You guys can read it because it's quite extensive. But again, you want to formulate according to how you want your nutrition facts panel to read. So that's it kind of in a nutshell. And in conclusions, we've shown the right choice of carrageenan to help to create the perfect plant-based dessert. Sweeteners, starches, flavors, and minerals can help round out the formulation. And here we're at Univar Solutions. We're ready, willing, and able to help with your unique formulation challenges. And we're going to stop now and take some time for some questions and answers. And remember, if you wish to ask a question, simply type it into the chat. We'll read it. Nobody else will see it. And go from there. We do actually have some questions, and I'm going to jump right into them. So, Carolina, I'm going to send this one to you. This is the elephant in the room. Here's the first question. There was previously negative perception on the safety of carrageenan in foods. Can you comment on this?
Thank you, Charles. It's a good question indeed, oftenly asked. Carrageenan is used as a food additive, and there's no evidence on health risk. Besides the FDA, other regulatory agencies, including the European Commission Health and the JECFA, have issued statements that carrageenan is safe and didn't have any toxicological concerns. Now, carrageenan recent negative perception started in 2015 with internet posting of negative studies claiming that carrageenan would induce inflammation, which could induce to cancer. The research had a number of serious flaws in its conduct, but also contemplated the administration of carrageenan, which is a degraded carrageenan, to mice up to a 1% of dosage in drinking water. JECFA rejected these studies as none of these adverse effects were reported when using traditional toxicological assessments in animal models fed with 4 times more carrageenan in their diets or drinking water. On the other hand, food-grade carrageenan doesn't hydrolyze in the human gastrointestinal tract. There's no evidence of its absorption in the bloodstream, and more importantly, the human body cannot degrade carrageenan to polygenine during digestion. Also, carrageenan has not been found to be carcinogenic, and there's no credible evidence supporting a carcinogenic effect on the colon in rodents. Now, I must add that for the last 50 years, there has been no evidence on carrageenan's health risk. And the oral administration of carrageenan, as typically consumed by humans in foods, doesn't provoke any inflammatory response. So it's safe. It's a completely safe ingredient to be used in all types of food formulations.
Good answer. Thank you very much. So here's another question. I understand that carrageenan needs to be heated in order to be functional, but will extreme heating or processing conditions affect its functionality? And I'll let you answer that one.
Thank you. Carrageenan is a versatile ingredient that can be subjected to all processing conditions traditionally used in the food industry, including high shear, homogenization, ultra-high temperature heat treatments, without losing its functionality. Now, regarding temperature, carrageenan only requires to reach a certain temperature varying from 55 to 75 degrees Celsius per type of carrageenan to fully activate. Once achieving the temperature, the functionality of carrageenan will not be affected by higher temperature or prolonged holding times. Carrageenan's functionality is not carrageenan's functionality is not negatively affected under acid conditions at room temperature above 60 degrees Celsius. I'm sorry, what I'm trying to say is that it is negatively affected only under acid conditions at temperatures above 60 degrees Celsius.
So it doesn't work in acid-based systems, basically.
No, it doesn't. I mean, you could use carrageenan in formulations up to, above pH 4.6. That's safe. Below those pHs, it's not safe to use carrageenan.
Good. Okay. Thank you. And now we have another question. And this one is, you mentioned that carrageenan interacts with protein, but what about other ingredients like gums and starches and phosphates? That's another one for you, Carolina.
Thank you. It is well known that kappa 1 and kappa 2 carrageenans have synergy with gelling galactomannan like tara, casein, locust bean gum, and as well as with the glucomannan konjac gum. The direct interaction between these two gelling hydrocolloids results in greater gel strength that developed, than the one that could be developed by each component. Carrageenans may increase the apparent viscosity and gel strength when combined with starches due to the volume exclusion effect. Depending on the type of starch, it may also decrease the gelatinization temperature, increase the gelling temperature, and reduce retrogradation. In addition to modifying the texture profile, the synergy of carrageenan with other gums and starches allows significant cost savings thanks to substantial reductions in their dosages. Now, and finally, carrageenans do not experience any synergy with phosphates, but are very sensitive to the phosphate salts potassium, calcium, sodium, or magnesium cations. These cations affect the carrageenan's functionality as they promote the aggregation of carrageenan helix formations, increasing the gel strength.
So the cations actually benefit the gelling properties of carrageenan. That's good.
Yes, they do. Depending on the type of carrageenan, some cations are more, some carrageenans are more sensitive to potassium and others are, for example, more sensitive to calcium. But the main cations to consider or to look would be potassium, calcium, sodium, magnesium, and manganesium.
Great. Thanks again. So we are getting close to time and we have several more questions. I'm going to jump to one that's probably on everybody's mind, I hope is anyway, and that is, the question is, how do we go about ordering samples of some of the ingredients in this presentation? And I can actually answer that. So by participating in this webinar, you're going to receive a survey. In that survey, there will be a question, do you want to receive samples? And of course, you would say yes if you do. And you'll have the opportunity of saying what you're actually interested in, and we'll be glad to respond to that. However, if you do not have time and don't want to mess with that, you could take your smart device, phone, iPad, whatever, scan that QR reader code right there. It'll take you to our landing page, and you can ask for samples to be ordered right from there. So, having said all that, we're getting close on time. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We hope that you found this presentation very informative. And if you had a question in the chat that we didn't get to, we will answer you back via email in the next couple of days. Takes a few minutes to correlate and get all the answers like we're supposed to. So want to make sure Carolina gets any questions that she needs to answer. Jerry might have some questions to answer. So we'll get back to you just as soon as we can. Thank you very much for joining us and have a great day.